Hello everybody, Curious Quarter right here again, and this is the second part of my Dark Souls playthrough. Like I said before, I'm not going to do like a full-on walkthrough, like play by play, part by part, because there's already a ton of those on the internet for Dark Souls, and they are all really well done. So I'm just taking some parts of the game that I like on New Game Plus, recording it, and then just kind of talking over it to you guys. One thing you don't want to do is what I just did, because that was very stupid. On the Drake Bridge, you never want to run straight ahead, because sometimes the AI will just be completely unpredictable. Sometimes the dragon will jump down and burn the shit out of you. Sometimes it will just stay perched up there. You never know exactly what it's going to do. Also, what's cool in this area, I don't do it because I already have the Drake sword, but if you're patient enough and you have a lot of arrows, you can shoot at the dragon's tail and break it off and actually acquire a really powerful weapon early on in the game, which would be called the Drake sword. It does kind of become obsolete after a while, though, after you get some better weapons. As I said before, this is New Game Plus, so I was playing kind of sloppy. I underestimated the enemies in this area because they are, pretty easy to kill, but on New Game Plus, the enemies do a lot more damage. You do get more souls, if I'm not mistaken, but the enemies do hit a lot harder. So, essentially what I'm doing right now is I just entered the Undead Parish, and I'm making my way to the Moonlight Butterfly boss fight, which you guys will see in the next video. I didn't want to make this video too long, because I do run into I guess you could call it like a mini boss coming up in the next area. So you're just basically seeing my journey getting there, taking out all of these easier enemies. But again, all the enemies in this area and a lot of the enemies in the game can be very easy to kill, but if there are a few of them and they gang up on you, then you can be in some serious trouble. You can go from, kicking so much ass in this game to getting raped in like 5 seconds. So you got to be very, very careful. You got to make sure that you watch your back as I do a back attack. I think one of the things I wanted to talk about were the mechanics in the game. I really, really love the melee system in this game, the combat, rather, because it's not exactly melee, but you have your standard fast attack, what you see me doing right there. That's the right bumper, or if you're on PlayStation, it would be R1. If you use the right trigger, you're going to do a strong attack, which with the weapon I currently have, the Lightning Uchi Katana, it's going to be like a thrusting attack. Thrusting, that's very dirty. Left bumper is going to be your shield, or whatever you have in your left hand. So if you want, you can put a shield in your left hand, or you can put another sword in your left hand, and you could, dual wield katanas if you want to. That's very powerful, but it's also very risky because you leave yourself open for attacks. And then left trigger lets you do a parry. Now that kind of varies depending on what shield you're using. Like the shield I currently have right now is a very, very heavy shield, so it's not going to be like a quick parry, which will, when you finally do parry an enemy, you can press right bumper to basically do a very, very powerful melee attack. Depending on the weapon you're using, it changes, but generally if you're using a sword, you stab them right in the chest and it does massive damage to the enemy, as well as those backstabs. So you want to make sure that you are, it kind of depends on the enemy too, because some enemies you can't backstab, and some enemies are a little too quick for you to get around to actually backstab them. But I really, really love the core mechanics of this game. The combat can be very addicting, and right there you see me switch to my Black Knight sword, because I realized there is a mini boss coming up, and I want to do as much damage to him as possible without, giving a lot of damage in return. Getting, not giving. But here's the mini boss. I'm not quite sure what his name is. You find a couple of these guys throughout the game, actually, and I make quite a few mistakes fighting this guy. First of all, you got to decide what you want to do when you fight, because your first instinct, and this is always my first instinct, is to just block every attack you can think of. But that green bar up there is your stamina bar, and when that runs low, you can't block, you can't attack, and you move very slowly. So one of these new mechanics that I didn't really take advantage of my first playthrough in the game, but I'm really starting to try and learn as best as I can now, is to actually dodge and roll and evade, because right there you see me standing there trying to block, but it was an overhead attack. Now if I would have dodged to the right or the left or backwards, I probably wouldn't have been hit by that. So as you see right there, I was able to jump back and not take any damage. So you really got to think quick when you're fighting these mini bosses and the main bosses especially. So because if you depending on the shield you have, sometimes you can block their attacks, but other times it takes away a lot of stamina. And right there I rolled right into his attack, and I damn near almost died there. But sometimes your shield will block the attack. Sometimes you'll be stunned so hard, and it usually lasts for a little while. You'll be open and vulnerable for another attack, but I'm able to take this guy out right here. And in the next video, I make my way to the Moonlight Butterfly, and I take that bitch out. I'm Curious Corduroy. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you're enjoying the series. I love this game a lot. I recommend that you pick this game up. It's so fantastic. So I'll see you guys in the third video, Moonlight Butterfly. Havel, who is now chasing me up the stairs. The first time this ever happened, I can't tell you how terrified I was to fight him, and I got fucked the first time I ever fought Havel because I didn't know what to do.